How's it going, guys? It's the Cranky Yankee again here. I'm gonna try to cover it now. That's fine. I guess I'm just gonna deal with it. If I do it this way, that's better. So, I read some interesting news on Twitter today. Read an article. One of my personal favorite goalies, Sean Bonar. Anybody who watched our Mobile Mystics GM mode from last year know that he played for the Atlanta Gladiators last year, also plays for the Atlanta Gladiators this year. However, he just got called up to the Providence Bruins. So, a man, great. I mean, he's not an exceptional goalie, but he's solid. I mean, in my opinion, he's probably no better or worse than a lot of the AHL guys that are playing in there right now. I guess he's going to be their backup in Providence. But it's really exciting to know there's a guy who I've seen play right here in Pensacola for the Pensacola Ice Flyers. The first year I was here, he was their goalie, which I think was 3 years ago. Then last season, he played, I think, 6 games for Pensacola, then got called up to the ECHL and got a contract with the Atlanta Gladiators and had played with them for the rest of the season. He started off the season this year as well with the Atlanta Gladiators, and as I said, he just got called up to Providence. Because for those of you who don't know, I believe the Atlanta Gladiators are affiliated with the Boston Bruins. So Mark, I don't know if you watch any of my videos, but hey, man, keep an eye out for this guy. He may be coming up, filling in some time in the NHL, possibly depending on the things are going with Rask. Now, I think Rask is injured. I don't really follow the Bruins enough to know, but they said that he got called up to Providence because one of the guys from Providence got called up to the NHL to back up Halak. So my guess is that Tuukka's injured or something. But this is really exciting for me, and it's not a very long video. It's just a little quick one for me. Just a little SPHL related stuff, minor league hockey stuff. I think it's really awesome. Congratulations, Sean. Good job, buddy. I hope you have some fun playing up there with the farm league with some current and former Bruins, or current and future Bruins, I should say. Hope he does well. I think this is the highest level that he's ever played in hockey. I don't believe he's played anything higher than the AHL. I think this is his first time ever being in the American Hockey League. So I'm going to be interested to see how well he does. I'm going to try to follow a little bit. I mean, like I said, I'm not a Bruins fan. I really don't like the Bruins at all. However, if Sean Bonar gets called up to the NHL, it might just be enough for me to want to go out and buy a Boston jersey. I'll get it custom made with Bonar's name right on the back too, and his number and everything. But yeah, just a little thing. I thought that was really cool. We had him in our Mobile Mystics GM mode last year. He was our backup. I made him a lot better than he actually is in the game. I also think that his rating is considerably low. I think last year he was like a 59 overall. I think personally, as far as NHL goes, I think he should be at least a 70, maybe high 60s, because I think at this point you could consider him like an AHL backup, maybe even fringe starter AHL. Definitely a ECHL starter. Numbers weren't real great so far this year with Atlanta. I think he has like an 887 save percentage. I don't remember what his goals against were or anything, but But, there's guys in the NHL that have that save percentage. Granted, they're not playing, they're playing against much harder competition than what he's seen in the East Coast League and we'll see in the AHL. However, the AHL is there's a significantly higher significantly higher talent level in the AHL as opposed to the ECHL, because I feel like the ECHL is for like the long-term prospects and kind of just older guys who just can't cut it in the upper leagues anymore. Now just keep in mind, most of the players who play for the East Coast Hockey League are not on NHL contracts. The good majority of them are not. As according to NHL 19, there's maybe 1 or 2, maybe even 3 guys on some teams who actually have NHL contracts, and they're like minimum like 650 $650K a year. So there are guys who have the potential to be in the NHL in the East Coast Hockey League. And as we know, in the AHL, there's a lot of guys who are on NHL contracts, if not all of them. Now, I know Bonar, I don't believe Bonar is on an NHL contract. If he is, holy hell, man, congratulations, man, because you are a rich man now. I mean, okay, he's not a millionaire, but if he's making the league minimum in the AHL, which I think is like close to $100,000, I think it's almost six figures. I know league minimum for NHL, I believe, is $625,000 or $650,000 a year. That's pretty damn good money, if you ask me. I mean, hey, if you're making six figures, you're a wealthy person. You're doing pretty all right. Upper middle class, maybe not necessarily into that high class kind of thing, but you're doing all right. I mean, that's solid money. You be set. I mean, you invested and saved well. You're going to be fairly pretty set for a good amount of time on that amount of money. But yeah, so he got called up to Providence, and good luck, buddy. Hope you do well. Maybe you can do some time there. Maybe the guys in Boston will see something they like, and you never know. Maybe we'll see him in the NHL in the future. I mean, possibly if I could see maybe if a guy or two goes down with long-term injury, could be getting called up, but maybe you never know. He might go up there, might be lights out. You never know. The one thing I have seen about him is that he was a phenomenal goalie in the SPHL, like ridiculously good, but that's a really low level. I mean, that's like, it would be, I think that'd be considered like single A, if you're using basketball terms. As a matter of fact, they actually said in the article that he got called to a AAA club, which would be the AHL. So I think a lot of people kind of use the same terminology that baseball uses, and you have like the major leagues, then you have the AAA ball, which is right below the MLB, and then the AA, which is below that, and single A, which is below that. And I know that because back home in Vermont, we have the single A club, the Vermont Lake Monsters, which I believe is a Washington Nationals affiliate. Used to be a Montreal Expos affiliate. We used to be the Vermont Expos in the single A leagues. But that's like the lowest professional level that there is, and I think the SPHL is comparable to that. It's the lowest. It's pretty much the lowest professional level of hockey in the United States, North America. But yeah, so good on him. Hopefully he does well. I'll be kind of paying attention to Providence, seeing what Providence is doing this year. Unfortunately, my Yahoo Sports app does not like to follow minor league hockey, unfortunately, which I don't like. It kind of upsets me. Because that's where I get a lot of my stats and stuff from, is just Yahoo Sports. It's a great app. You don't have it and you want to follow the statistics and you can't watch games all the time. That's what I do. It allows me to know everything's gone. Like I was following tonight. The Rangers beat Vancouver tonight. Awesome for Rangers. The Rangers are looking good there. I'm kind of paying attention to the Rangers this year, and I think I'm going to be going forward because of a specific person, Ty Ronning. Anybody who watches X-Tech stuff know that Ty Ronning was turned out to be a really good player for him in NHL, but he's listed, I think, as a low top 6, red top 6 in NHL. So I think that if that potential is accurate, then we could see Ty Ronning and maybe in a third line role in the future. I think he's only like 20 or 21, so he's still a young kid. He's got some growth left to him. He could definitely, we could definitely see him up in playing on the Rangers. In the next few years. He plays for Hartford right now, which is the AHL affiliate of the New York Rangers. So you never know. Bonar might be facing some shots against Mr. Ty Ronning there too. But that's just a little bit there. I wanted to let you guys know about that because anybody who follows my thing should at least recognize the name. Anybody's last name is Bonar, and I always say it's Bonar time whenever he comes and plays, because I think it's clever and funny, and maybe it's lame and stupid. I don't know, but it makes me giggle on the inside. That's why I do it. That's why I say it. But yeah, so person I've seen play. A goaltender that I really I really enjoyed watching play, that I really like. One of my favorite Pensacola Ice Flyers that we've had is there. Speaking of them, they're not doing well right now. They're 8th in the league. They're in the last playoff spot currently, and they have won 2 games this year out of, I think, 10, or close to that. 10, 7, 8 or 10. I think like 2-6 or something like that. I haven't checked, but Katie was telling me that earlier today. So yeah, Pensacola's not been doing good this year. And the game that me and Katie saw, they couldn't even stand up on their fucking skates. It was bad. But it wasn't just them. It was both teams. So I'm thinking that the ice is just not great at Pensacola. But I've seen, we watched them play last year, and I don't know what the difference was, but nobody could stay on their feet at all. It was like 10 Scott Hartnells on the ice. They just kept falling down and falling over, and they couldn't hang on to the puck. It was just, they weren't. I will say this: they're shooting a bit more than they were last year. I thought they cycled way too much last year. They were patient, but the problem is I think a big thing is that they come out and they give 110% right off the bat, first period. By that third period, they're gassed. Guys they just don't have stamina to play that hard for 60 minutes, and you have to. I think conditioning is a big issue. I think a lot of these guys, could use some conditioning. One of the guys that we saw last year, Nathan Briere, he's a defenseman. He looks a lot better this year. He's that young. I think he's like 23 or 24, so relatively young guy. Most of these guys I don't think will ever end up in the AHL, but the fact that Bonar has made it up there is pretty cool. So maybe the SBHL is like a hidden treasure trove of goalies, possibly. Not maybe a treasure trove, but there could be some really solid goaltending found in there, because we all know Scott Darling played for in the SBHL, and he played for the Mississippi River Kings, who is now defunct, and the Louisiana Ice Skaters, which is also now a defunct team. The River Kings played last season, and then they went defunct in the offseason this past year. So now we have another team, Quad City, who is now in, but we still have 10 teams. But Scott Darling, a SBHL alumni, now plays for Carolina, and he's not a great goalie. He did win a Stanley Cup with Chicago, so hey, the SBHL has technically produced a Stanley Cup winning goaltender. So I have high hopes for Bonar. I think there's a small chance, but still a chance that we could see him playing in the NHL someday. But yeah, that's it for me. That was just a little news article that I read today. I wanted to share with y'all. But I'm the Cranky Yankee. We'll see you guys in the next one. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you leave comments in the bottom if you have anything you want to put in. If you want to go do some research, look it up and let me know what you think. But he is also in NHL 19, so any of you who want to, I'm sure he'll be in Providence in the next roster update. But if anybody want to go and just kind of look at his stats, look at his attributes and stuff, if you want to kind of do the NHL 19 kind of stuff. It's not exactly directly related to real life. There's a lot of things that can happen in real life that game can't account for, but it's a pretty decent judge of potential and character. There's a lot of players in those games that have that. If you play a few years ahead, young guys pretend. Like I know people like Mitch Marner and William Nylander and all these people who they were kind of like, people were like, I don't know how they're gonna be. They may be good, they may not be, and then they just like light it up in NHL. And some of these guys are doing the same thing in real life as they used to do for me in my games. So it's possible that we could see him in the NHL. But let me know what you think. Do some research if you're curious. Let me know what you think of. Do you think he's got a good chance of possibly moving up again? Maybe he really wows them in Providence, and maybe next season we'll see him with an actual AHL contract, because that'd be pretty cool. He'll be making some good money then. But I liked him. I think he's a really good goalie. Anybody who plays professional is good. There's not a lot of great goalies. There's, even less elite goalies out there. But there's a lot of good goalies in the NHL. And there's even more good goalies in the AHL. And, maybe Bonar, maybe he's an average goalie. Maybe he's that in between the average to good. But I really like him. I think he's a really good goaltender. I'd love to see him in the NHL someday. I don't have my hopes high because I don't think he will. But hey, he's finally gotten called up to the AHL. He's almost into the big leagues. He's in the second biggest league in North America for hockey, arguably the second best league in the world for hockey, depending on where you think the KHL sits in reference to that. Anyways, like I said, that's it for me. I'm the Cranky Yankee, and we'll see you guys in the next one.